Hi, my name is Aaliyah and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my October TBR. So, it is now spooky season, which means it's time for us to read all of the spooky books. So, I'm very excited about October. I have lots of stuff planned for YouTube content and also spooky books I want to get to. And so, I think we're just going to get on into it. So first off, I want to say there's a couple read-a-thons that I want to participate in October. So first I want to try and do Spoopathon. Now this is hosted by Holly over at Spoopathon, and her channel is really cool and she's worked really hard to make this Halloween read-a-thon, so I want to try and participate in that. And then I also want to try to do Vampathon, which is hosted by Jody, and this is another spooky read-a-thon that sounds really cool. So yeah, both of those are things I'm interested in doing this month. There's a lot of prompts for both of them, so I think I'm going to try to double up on stuff. But yeah, so I have tons of books for these prompts, so you might as well just get into it. Okay, so for Vampathon, there's a bingo board that goes with it, so I'll try and put that over here. Let me scooch. Yeah, so for Vampathon, there's a little bingo board that'll be over here. And so I think I'm planning on going just like down the board on the side. So the first one is a book to sink your teeth into. And I have the perfect one for this, which is a vampire book. And this is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. So this is a young adult urban fantasy about vampires. And we follow this young girl and she goes to a party and things get crazy and she wakes up the next morning in the bathtub at this house, and she comes out looking for her friends who are at the party, and everybody who was at the party is now dead. And the story kind of goes from there. And in this world there's vampires. There's this place called Cold Town where if you get bit by a vampire you have to go to Cold Town so you don't infect other people with your vampirism and feel the need to bite people. So that's a thing in this town, and this is a really action-packed story. I have read like 2/3 of this 2 other times before, and for whatever reason I always just get busy in the fall and never end up reading the end. So this year I really want to reread this and then actually read the end so I know what happens. But this is a really good book. It has really short chapters. It's very spooky. So that's the first one I want to read for Vampathon. Very fitting, lots of vampires. And then the next one on the bingo board is a spooky middle grade. So for that I have a book that I just bought. This is a new spooky middle grade, and it's called The Thieving Collectors of Fine Children's Books. And this sounds like it has kind of a complicated plot. It's about this boy and he steals books, and in this world people don't really read books anymore, so he doesn't think it's a big deal that he steals this book that's his favorite one from the library. So that's not really the case though. So he steals this book and it turns out there's some villains who are after this particular book, and they invite him to their creepy manor, and he ends up getting sucked inside of his favorite book, and he has to help the characters defeat the bad guys. And I guess there's like some monsters in here and spooky stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this brand new release. I'm super down for the spooky middle grades. That's one of my favorite things. So yeah, this looks super fun. The cover kind of reminds me of like Ghostbusters with like this spooky ghosty stuff over here. Alright, and then the next one on the bingo board is a horror book. So for that, I have one that I just got for my birthday, and that is The Taking of Jake Livingston. So I am super excited about this. I've been looking forward to this book because I have been like following it on Goodreads since before it even had a cover, and it sounds super fun. So I think this is a dark academia about this guy named Jake, and he can see ghosts, and it hasn't really been a problem before, but now he's at this boarding school and there's a ghost there who used to be a school shooter, I think, or a serial killer or something like that, and this ghost is talking to him and won't leave him alone, and the story goes from there. So I'm very excited about this. It's short and I just really want to read it because I've been eyeing it for so long. And then the last one that we have for Vampathon is a book with blood on the cover. So this is actually kind of harder to find than you'd think. But I have this one, The Fell of Dark, that I've been wanting to read. There is blood on the cover. It also has vampires. It's YA. I think this is a queer novel, and I've been wanting to read from this author, Caleb Roerig, I think his name is. I really want to read some of his stuff because both of his books look really interesting. I have one of his other ones back here, Death Prefers Blondes, and I haven't read that one either, so I want to get to his stuff. I've heard this is about a town where vampires live, and that's all I really know. It sounds like it's fun, adventures, teens having to save the world. That's all I really needed to know. So those are the 4 main books that I want to read. And I think there's some crossover with these and the prompts for Vampathon and then the ones for Spoopathon. But I'm gonna look at the Spoopathon ones real quick and just see, because there's a couple other books that I could read for that. Okay, so I'll also put up the picture of the board for Spoopathon. So this is more of like a journey kind of a readathon. So basically the goal is to complete all the prompts and then get out of the haunted house. And so this readathon has a point system and stuff like that, so it's pretty in depth, I have to say. So some of these will also work for these prompts, but I have a couple other spooky books over here too. So I think the Taking of Jake Livingston will work for the gifted book prompt because I got that one for my birthday. And then I could also read The Coldest Girl in Cold Town for a book with the autumnal cover because it's very spooky with this cold dead hand. And then a couple other ones I wanted to get to. The Witches Steeped in Gold. So I've heard kind of mixed things about this. It sounds like it's about these 2 women who are witches, and it's a Jamaican inspired fantasy where these witches who aren't really friends, they have to work together to defeat a common enemy. So that sounds interesting. I've heard the beginning of this is kind of slow, but I'm not really sure about it yet. And it's really chunky. So let's see, does this have over 500 pages? Yes, it does. This will work for the prompt with a book with a black cover and also a book that's over 500 pages. So that would be good for Spoopathon. And then another one that doesn't really fit into the prompts for either of these, but I still am interested in reading it, is The Companion. So this is one that I saw Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte read like last fall, I think. And this is a story about a girl who's an orphan and she gets adopted by this family, and the family wants her to be the companion for their daughter, who is silent and kind of mysterious and creepy. And so this girl gets adopted and goes and lives with them at their house, and then creepy things start happening in the house and weird things are kind of going on with the daughter, and it turns out that things are not as they seem, and the girl who just got adopted might have to get away from this family. So that's all I really know. I've only seen a couple people read this, but I've heard that it's really good and I'm intrigued. I think it's young adult also. So that's all I really know. I think I bought this like last year and I still have not picked it up, but it sounds really cool. Also, there's a creepy spoon on it that has needles, and I don't know what that's about, but I'm intrigued. So yes, that is my October TBR. That is what I have for you. That is quite a few spooky books, and I have even more than that if I get to all of these. Woo. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this and you got to the end, please leave a pumpkin emoji in the comments down below, and also tell me what spooky books you're excited to read this season. I'm very excited for autumn. Can't wait to do all the spooky videos and book recommendations and all of that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you aren't already, like, comment, all that good jazz. Go check out my Bookstagram and my Twitter, link down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!